Go for it.
Friggin' what up, dude? Strider Wilson, and I'm the host of this podcast that's mine, going to be called History is Dank. History is Dank with Strider Wilson. Darkness from the clouds.
Friggin' what up, dude? Welcome back to another ep of History is Dank, dude. I'm your host, Strider Wilson, dude. We got Aaron going beast mode on the sticks, dude. What up, Aaron, dude?
What up?
Dude, I'm just freaking posted up right now. Fired up to be in the studio, dude. Look, we took a week off. You know, life gets busy. You know what I mean? Aaron and I, we were on a mission. What you guys don't know is we're spies. We travel internationally. Do you think we're just podcasting? You think we're just out here sending, you know, dankfotainment is what this podcast is called. It's its own genre. Okay, there's infotainment, there's entertainment, and then there's dankfotainment. This is dankfotainment. You think that's just what we do? You're wrong, dude. Aaron and I are around, dude, gathering data, espionage, dude, and not the type you think for governments, dude. Just for bros out there, we just go. Aaron and I go on trial dates together. We were in one of those swans in Echo Park Lake, being like, "Oh, this is nice. It'd be nice to take the ladies here." Aaron and I went to Cancun together. We'll indulge in couples massages together and say, "Hey, this would work. Would your wife appreciate this? Would your wife appreciate that?" I go, "Do they have vegetarian options for my wife?" You know, Aaron will ask something for his wife. I'm like, "Hey, you got the kid? Is there something that the kids can do that's kid friendly while you guys go, I don't know, on a sunset cruise?" Aaron and I have taken many a sunset cruise, dude. We've done a lot of research in the Newport Harbor together, dude. Freaking doing the first scene from Titanic every time we get on the boat. I see Statue of Liberty already. Every time we step on a boat, right up to the freaking bow. Is it the bow? Stern? What's the front of the boat?
Something
I
the bow,
should know.
yeah, the bow.
It's just something you gotta know as a dude. That's how you impress father-in-laws. You talk about boats. They're the bow of the boat. On the starboard side, bow of the boat, and I actually caught a trout, pretty big trout, ton of trout. Rewatch The Social Network. I like that analogy of, does a dude ever pose, with 14 trout in the background that he caught, or does he pose with one 3,000-pound marlin? It's a good call. It's good writing in that movie, dude. Social Network. Are you a Social Network guy? Are you a Fincher guy?
I like Fincher. I do not like The Social Network. Bores me.
Yeah. I mean, they make the Trent Reznor. I know you're a Reznor guy. You like Trent Reznor.
I like Trent Reznor, sure.
Does a great job with the soundtrack. The soundtrack does a lot of, actually the Fincher does a really good job too of he creates such high stakes around what's going on. Like the hacking and it is, it did change the course of fucking society,
Yeah,
but it is.
They're not cool.
No, they're not. That's the thing.
I want them to look cool.
They do a good job. They are dorks though. They don't go to the cool dude, Final Club party. You know who's probably the best performance? My favorite performance in that movie is probably Andrew Garfield's. And Armie Hammer before he became a sex cannibal. There's a phrase. There's a 21st century phrase. There's something that's going to strike fear into the heart of parents. What are they teaching kids in schools? Sex cannibalism? I'm like, you're just giving them information, dude. Sorry to get political off the bat. Didn't mean to do it. Let's keep it moving. Does sort of take us to our first segment. Speaking of film, I wanted to do a recast it today. Okay? Yesterday's movies with today's actors, one of my favorite segments on History is Dank. And you might think I'm going to do Social Network. It'd be interesting. I kind of regret that I'm not. But you know what I am going to do? Lord of the Rings.
Oh boy.
Now, there's a billion roles here, so maybe we'll keep it to the primary roles. We're not going to be talking about my boy Hugo Weaving, Elrond. We're not going to recast that. We're going to cast the Fellowship and maybe a few, Gandalf, a few of the other actors, see who we can get in there. But, this is just, it's one of the dankest movies of all time. When did it come out? 2001?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Hidalgo came out after the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, it was his follow-up.
Look, that's an underrated movie.
Viggo loves a horse.
He rides it well.
He bought the horse from Lord of the Rings. Probably bought this horse.
There's something About the outside of a horse that's good for the inside of a man. One of my favorite all-time quotes, my boy Winston Churchill. Good ass. So, you know who I put as Frodo? He might be a little aged out, because Frodo is probably, Elijah Wood is probably in his 20s.
Yeah.
I want to put Daniel Radcliffe in there, but Daniel Radcliffe might be a little bit too old now.
Yeah.
But would you do Daniel Radcliffe? You know who you could do, and you might be...
The Tom Holland, maybe?
I think you put Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland as one of the other hobbits, like as like Pippin,
You could, yeah.
but he's probably too big of a star. But my boy Chalamet.
Chalamet's babyface.
My
for
boy
sure.
Chalamet could be Frodo. Bang, no question. My boy Chalamet probably would want to be Aragorn, though. I'm saying he would. The sword would be bigger than him,
Yeah.
but the guy can do it. Chalamet can do everything. But I'm thinking,
Well, they had another guy as Aragorn
who?
originally.
Oh yeah, because Viggo, they've got that famous story where he like didn't want to do it, and then his kids were like, "You got to do it."
No, that's not it at all.
That's how it goes, right?
No.
All right, let's go. So, all right, stand corrected. Let's go.
I mean, I'm
Hit it
sure he
with us,
didn't want to
baby.
leave his kids for a long time. Cause
Yeah,
he
that
shot
was
for like
it.
a year. But Stuart Townsend was originally Aragorn. And they shot with him. And then, like Back to the Future, they're like, nah, this
I
isn't
know.
working.
What a bummer for an actor to get all the way that, like, book the role, then you're getting a screen test, and they're like, nope.
I mean, it was not even screen test. It was shooting.
Yeah, they got
Shooting
all the
a
way.
movie. Yeah.
Remember with that famous story with Jeff Daniels when he's going to be in Dumb and Dumber, and he was being screen tested, like he kind of figured it out that weekend in Aspen. Like they did all the Aspen sequences.
Yeah.
He shot for one day with Jim Carrey, and then like went and did all of his own stuff, and then the studio. So I think they wanted a comedian.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey wanted an actor.
Yeah.
You didn't want it one-upsmanship. And thank God they stuck with it. And thank God they stuck with. I mean, how do you replace Viggo? But we have to do it today. Who can be Aragorn? Who could do it? King of Gondor.
They got to be a little older though.
That's what I'm saying. They got to be like 35.
Oh, you know who they could do? They could do Kieran Culkin as one of the other hobbits, like Merry or Pippin,
Yeah, but yeah.
the mouthy one, whichever one's the mouthy one.
Yeah, the one that, he's got to be able to sing though, dude.
Only if he's Pippin, yeah. So maybe he's Merry.
Maybe Mary.
Let's see.
I got to go with my boy. For some reason, I want to say John Barenthal, but he could probably be like more of the Sean Bean, Boromir.
Boromir,
Where
yeah.
he turns.
That's
he
a
could do
good
that.
call, yeah.
He could be a Boromir.
That's a really good call.
And then you could have Chalamet. What about who's going to be Samwise, dude? Who's Chalamet's boy? Tom Holland. Maybe Tom Holland, and you got these two
Yeah.
guys who are basically
have him
hobbit-sized dudes.
Eat a few donuts.
Yeah, they're both going. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could, you know. Oh, you know who's going to be Gimli? Is why am I blanking on his name? The dude from 300.
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler's Gimli.
That's a good call. I like that.
He's Gimli.
I like that.
Because I think he is in the new Lord of the Rings series, isn't he?
No.
He's not?
No.
Okay, he's not.
Richard Armitage looks like him though.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
so much like him.
He's in The Hobbit. He's
I
one of the stars of The Hobbit.
I think you put Gerard Butler as Gimli.
I like that. God, who's someone who's like...
It's hard to... It's Aragorn, and then also it's going to be even harder. Who could be Gandalf? Who's a legit-ass older dude? Because, I mean, dude, Ian McKellen.
Jeffrey Rush?
Yeah.
Is he that old yet?
He
Or do
is
you
good.
throw-
You
or do
better
you
start believing in ghost stories.
Or do you start? Or do they put a beard on? Colin.
Timothy Chalamet.
Not Farrell. Yeah, just Chalamet. doing all the
Chalamet
parts.
again, dude.
No.
Oh, Colin Farrell stepping in.
No. Colin Firth.
Oh,
Colin
Colin
Firth.
Firth would be pretty sick, dude.
Oh, and then Colin Farrell is Aragorn. Oh yeah.
I was gonna say Colin Farrell could be the evil guy, and even Aragorn.
I like him as Aragorn.
Oh.
I like him as Aragorn.
Oh, as the Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Colin Farrell would be great. Has he done action?
Oh yeah. Colin Farrell?
Oh yeah, he did famously the worst. He was fucking Alexander. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah,
terrible,
but in
terrible.
Miami Vice, he's done a ton of action.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's done Sword and Sandal too, though. Okay, yeah, he could do it. And then who's Sauron? Who's the evil wizard? You got.
You don't see him.
Maybe
Saruman.
Yeah, you never see Saruman.
Saruman's the one you do see in human form.
I don't think you can ever replace Andy Serkis, the guy doing Gollum.
I know,
He's
you
just
really
a beast. You just can't. Maybe the dude that did the apes. That's also Andy Serkis, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, bro. There's just no way. There's just no way. I'm sorry. Okay, he still has to. You can't recast that guy. And then, okay, so we've got our Gandalf. This is legit.
I mean, the other guy who was an ape in Planet of the Apes, the first
Yeah.
one, or second, the War of the Planet of the Apes, was Toby something from Rock and Rolla. He was really good.
Okay, so maybe you get him just because he's a little bit younger, I guess. But there's no guy like right now doing this sort of stuff
that we know.
I mean,
of,
Benedict Cumberbatch was the dragon, and I never even saw the Hobbit movies.
Hobbit, yeah.
Get out of here.
Oh, he's great.
He's probably amazing, but just too long, too many monologues, dude. Sorry.
It's great, dude.
You like those?
They're good, yeah. I love
I'll
living
give
in
him a
that world.
chance. Or Legolas, who's Orlando Bloom? Remember, Orlando Bloom wasn't Orlando Bloom yet. Who's the up and coming guy?
Do we go Glenn Powell?
Whoa. Does he have the elegance? He's a little more rugged than.
Yeah, maybe.
He doesn't have the elegance
That's a
of
good call.
Orlando Bloom. But I love my boy Glenn Powell.
Ooh, Saruman, Cillian Murphy.
That's great.
Maybe not old enough, but
he could do it and he'd be amazing.
But you could age him.
That's a great ass call. I love that
movie.
movie.
Gandalf. Ooh.
Dude, he could literally do either.
Yeah, he could do
Have we
either.
chosen our Gandalf yet? Oh yeah, we said Colin Firth.
I was saying Colin Firth, maybe.
Yeah, he's got gravitas as an older actor.
Ooh.
Do you freaking put what's his name in there? Morgan Freeman, dude?
No. Gandalf. Liam Neeson.
Oh, bang.
I just made myself.
I mean, dude, my shorts. we gotta kill the recording. My shorts. We need to do a shorts change. This is a new segment where we both cream our shorts, and we gotta change them. Yeah, Liam Neeson's baby.
Yeah.
Great call. He's doing Naked Gun now with the Lonely Island guys. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be fun. He's good at comedy. He is very funny.
He just made me cream my shorts.
So then opposite him. Ooh, what about like Kiefer Sutherland? He's smaller.
Yeah,
but
he's a little weaselly.
He's about the same
dry.
age. Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I like Cillian Murphy, dude. Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy. Yeah.
You could put the beard on him like that. I'm picturing that long, thin beard.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Who's Legolas? Who's like a good ass actor who could be,
Let's see.
I think he has like 3 lines. Have you ever seen the supercut of how many lines him and Frodo have together? It's hilarious. He's like,
oh yeah. No, there's a whole internet theory that Frodo does not know who Legolas is.
so funny, dude.
Or doesn't know his name.
It's so funny.
They're
It's
so
amazing.
good.
Who would play well with Gerard Butler as Gimli? Because they've got great energy and scenes together.
Yeah, they gotta be good together.
They've got they have to have some chemistry. Gerard Butler, and then who's like a
no, it can't be Statham.
smooth badass? Yeah, Statham's too
Can't be
badass.
Statham. It's too rugged.
Long hair, don't care. Cool with an arrow.
They had a lot of the guys that I'm thinking of are already in The Hobbit, like the guy from Scorpion. I forget his name.
I mean, what's his name would never do it. Gosling, I could see him doing it, but he's also too old now too. But I could have seen Gosling do it
Yeah,
back
a young
in the
Gosling
day.
certainly
Yeah.
would have been good.
It's the thing, dude. Who are the guys that are coming up? Who's the next Gosling, dude? The next Bloom. Put him in the movie.
God, who's young and elegant? Jesus. Tom Hiddleston.
What the hell is he from again?
Loki.
Yeah. Is he too old though? He might be too old now.
Old, but
he has that. He has that sort of look to him.
I'm trying to think of guys who were.
Loki's.
Oh, Toby Kebbell is that guy's name from Rock and Rolla for Gollum. Just came into my head.
The guy from you know who could do it is Cuba Gooding Jr.'s kid.
Oh,
He's good. He's good. He's in that movie Hard Eyes with Jordana Brewster. What Up? He's good in it. He's good and sort of has that elegance, and he's fit to get it done. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I want to go to our next segment. Keep this thing rocking and rolling. Keep it moving. And if it comes to us, sometimes these things come to you in a moment where you're not thinking about it. And later in this episode, we might just be like, "Oh, bang, got it."
Yeah.
But I want to play a little Help Hurt Bone. before we get into the crux of our episode today. Help hurt bone. Sir Francis Bacon. You've probably heard of him. It's just a great name.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a good spy name. If you're checking into a hotel as an alias, he's a good guy to use. Who is he? He's an English philosopher and statesman. Was operating, he's born in 1561, died in 1626. He was there during the end of the Elizabethan era into King James I. I think he's the guy who printed the Bible, King James Version. That's who that is. He was all about natural philosophy and the scientific method, something these days that we're, abandoning. Our scientific method nowadays is, did Rogan say it? All right, chill. Did someone in a podcast do it? Okay, yeah, I like it. No, he's about that hypothesis, question and answer, and search out evidence, come to a conclusion. He was a big proponent of that, which in his day was somewhat revolutionary. He was a badass. He was the Attorney General to like the Lord Chancellor of England, so he held a high position. He was knighted, but then at the end of his career, he was accused of taking some bribes. Maybe accepting gifts, which wasn't entirely unheard of, but maybe he bit off a little too much, maybe got a little too greedy. Also, there was a change of power, and some of his boys may have stepped out of office, and there was a changing of the guard, and they're like, well, you're out now too, so we need to force you out. He's famously quoted as saying during one of his committee hearings, he says, "My lords, it is my act, my hand, and my heart. I beseech your lordship to be merciful to a broken reed." So he's admitting fault. He's just saying, please don't be too harsh. They put him in the Tower of London, a place where you don't want to go. But his stay there only lasted a few days. He was remitted by the king. I believe he owed like 40,000 pounds or something like that. They did not strip him of his nobility, which they could have done. They stripped him of his knighthood. They didn't do that. They didn't take his rank, which really would have made him a disgrace. But he was booted out of office, and he was never allowed to hold any future public office. I guess he was a shyster, accepted some bribes. But, history, did a little more research. It was never proven. Things were never proven. So that's someone who you could help. It's a scientific method, badass guy, sick ass name.
So he's not the painter.
No.
Is that Nathaniel Bacon?
They have
the painter who does like the crazy like death art almost.
Oh yeah. Who does
like
that?
The guy
No,
in
that's
the
not
chair.
Hieronymus Bosch.
No. Well, Bosch does that too, but Bosch does like hell and stuff.
Yeah, Nathaniel Bacon, I think, is the guy Bacon's Rebellion in the U.S.
Yeah.
And there is another Bacon artist.
Francis Bacon.
Did he paint as well? Am I a dumbass?
Irish-British painter. No, this guy is born 1909, died in 92.
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's
So-
common name, dude.
Yeah.
Was this the John Smiths out here?
Yeah, so there's just two guys.
This Sir Francis Bacon had a rival named Edward Coke. Legit, dude. Then you can also, so you got Sir Francis Bacon, this guy. There's other Bacons out there, so that might, hold
Kevin.
sway depending on what we want to do.
Famously, Kevin.
Kevin Bacon as well. He's probably the best bacon out there.
Yep.
He's the smoked applewood of bacon.
Yeah.
Of bacon dudes. Then you got Mata Hari.
Brown sugar.
Ooh,
Brown sugar bacon.
Oh, yeah. So nice. Now I want a BLT right now. Mata Hari, famously, we've done an episode on her. Check it out if you haven't. Go back and listen. It's one of my faves. Dutch exotic dancer. Courtesan.
Okay.
Convicted of being a spy in World War I, a German spy. Executed by the French. Convicted by the Germans. But she was just chilling. I mean, we did that whole episode. You got to go and make your own, delineations there. I shouldn't say using that wrong, but you can come to your own conclusion, is what I should say. But I'm thinking she's not guilty. I think she was just a scapegoat for some schmoles in office who were actually dealing with spies, and they needed someone to blame for information being lost, and these guys and these officers decided to blame this legit exotic dancer. So it's a bummer. And remember, we're playing Help Hurt Bone, but you could also save a life, because I don't think she was guilty.
Yeah.
And then also Tiger Woods. Can you help Hurt Bone? Tiger Woods, dude. Throw him in there. I mean, the guy's pretty much never missed a shot. I was like, could you tell him to change a club at any point? But the guy's so clutch. I think you just got to be like, hey, man, stay away from the painkillers. Don't go do that Navy SEAL training. It might be a tough go. He might kick you away from being his friend. Also, how do you become his friend? You have to travel back in time to being like a golf pro with his dad and save him from doing psycho drills. But then does he become Tiger Woods if he doesn't chip the ball over his dad's head from 3 feet away? And does he hit that shot out of the sand trap in 2005, one of his best shots of his career at the Masters at Augusta? I don't know. On hole, I think 15, 16, I remember. Anyway, Help Hurt Bone, Sir Francis Bacon, Mata Hari, Tiger Woods. Also, Tiger Woods probably good at sex.
Well, you'd have to believe with as many women as he's with. But
I'm saying,
I'm going to hurt Tiger Woods.
Yeah, the guy's got a. You want to hurt him more?
I don't need him.
Yeah, he's already. He's done his. He's crushed it.
He's done it. He's done.
Okay.
He's done
I
and
like
done.
this. How would you hurt him? Yell like in the middle of his backswing. You could do something as little as that. Be like, what did the guy say in Happy Gilmore 1? You bastard!
You jackass!
Yeah, you jackass! You jackass!
Yeah, jackass!
If they don't have that guy in Happy Gilmore 2, I'm gonna be really sad. They need that guy back.
He passed away.
Oh,
so, yeah, Joe Flaherty.
Joe Flaherty, that
Legend.
guy's a national treasure
From SCTV, legend.
Mm-hmm.
A
Canadian national treasure.
Yeah.
You Canadian?
Yeah.
They're always the good ones. Are Canadian. Soon gonna be a 51st state. Soon we'll be Americans. Don't worry. They're gonna enter the Golden Dome.
Then I'm gonna bone Mata Hari.
Smart. Man, smart.
And
I mean, just smart.
Help Bacon, I guess.
Yeah, you could be like, hey guys, who else is it? Hey, Edward Koch. Who would have you accepted bribes? Aaron, I think you nailed that quiz.
Yeah.
I think you nailed it. I love it. Okay, that's Help Hurt Bone. Now, let's get into our crux of our episode. This came via suggestion. Hannibal. I'm not talking about Hannibal Lecter, creepy-ass movie. Famously, one of my buddy's brothers, couldn't handle it when he went to go see that movie, and, I guess it was, too gory at one point.
Yeah.
And, he, passed out, and they, had to turn the lights on in the theater and take him out.
How old was he?
Schmoll move. He's, in high school.
That's crazy.
Might have been dehydrated. I mean, dude, don't go seeing Hannibal. Don't go to the movies without get yourself some freaking. I don't know, bro. Get yourself a freaking cherry Coke, dog, and some popcorn.
Ginger
Hydrate,
ale.
dog. Yeah, get a ginger ale. Come on. What are you doing?
Ginger ale, straighten you right out.
Yeah. Look, you guys know I got fire energy. Absolutely legit. When I wake up, I'm like a vampire. It's just eyes wide, ready to rock and roll. But to be honest, I drink coffee. I need my caffeine. But sometimes you get that crash. And there's something out there. There's technology, dude. In a dank little shot-sized, fun to take. I love taking these things. I love taking them with my wife. These little Magic Mind shots, dude. They're so legit. And they don't give you a crash. It supplements my energy, enables me to wake up in vampire mode, like I call it. Let's go, baby. Let's rock. And they're delicious. You take them down. Chad and JT introduced me to them. My wife's like, you got to get more of those. She's more stoked on them than I am, dude, because maybe she's a little more sensitive. People are sensitive to caffeine. Everyone's body's a little bit different. It's tough to dose it out. It's also expensive. Coffee shop culture, it's tough to get it organic. But with Magic Mind, what they're putting in there, it's right there on the box. It's right there on the little shot glass. You know what you're getting. You know what you're getting into. And it's freaking dank, dude. I like to take mine. I still do enjoy my morning cup of joe. I like to go out on my patio. I like to sip it. I like to close my eyes. I was going to say look into the sun. No, I like to close my eyes and take in that sun, sip my coffee, then go in and have that nice, cool little Magic Mind, and it sets me up right for the day. So I think if you're thinking about getting on board or you're experiencing caffeine crashes, think it might be time to implement some magic, my dude, and the time is nigh. And the time is nigh. Is that how you say it? The time is nigh. I think that's how you say it, dude.
Something like that.
Yeah, right now, Magic Mind is doing a limited time launch offer. Okay, it's going to be awesome. It's 60% off your subscription with my link or QR code. Check the episode description. Everything you need's right there, baby. I mean, that's huge. Okay, and there's zero risk because they offer a 100% money back guarantee. No questions asked. You got to love that. So if you're drowning into to-dos, you're running on fumes, or you just want to finally feel clear and focus again, this is your sign. Try Magic Mind. Cancel anytime. Full refund if it's not your vibe, but I think it's going to be. Look, I was hesitant. I was like, I'm a coffee guy. Boom. I'm vibing with it. So act fast because this offer won't last long. Click the link in my episode description. Magic Mind, baby. Let's go. So we're famously talking about Hannibal of Carthage, okay? Which there is a movie from 2006 that I think looked pretty bad. You know when there's just like, I think it was a foreign film and it's one of those where like everything just looks too good. Like they didn't use any filtration. Like it doesn't like, the director didn't put it in an era. Like it very much looks like a student film. Like they got shot in the bushes and it's like, you can tell like it's, on the other side of it, there's like a Five Guys, and they're just like in the parking lot behind it with the trees. It kind of has that whole vibe throughout the film. But suffice to say, this guy, he's a major character in history. There was a famous phrase, Hannibal's at the gates in Rome, okay? You did not want, everyone in Rome feared Hannibal. He struck fear into the hearts of the mighty Roman Empire. He was sort of battling Rome in their come up. He was born in 247 BC, so before Christ. And he's born in North Africa, what is now known as Tunisia. His father hated Rome. He instilled in him a disdain for Rome, just in the same way my father distilled a disdain for Go-Gurts in me by saying Go-Gurts are for idiots. Maybe Hannibal's father said Rome is for idiots. I should have waged war against Go-Gurts. It's the same. I should have gotten elephants and had them stomp every Go-Gurt delivery package to every supermarket throughout the lands. The same way that Carthage was trying to battle for power and sway in the Mediterranean. I mean, that's basically what these Punic Wars, there's 3 Punic Wars. It's Rome and Carthage doing battle, spheres of influence, who's going to be the major superpower. Carthage famously had a more powerful navy. They would trade. They weren't necessarily looking to conquer other civilizations. They were looking to trade and have commerce, whereas Rome was looking to come in and conquer you, bring their culture there.
And if you swam in the Mediterranean, you might come out looking Punic too, you know what I'm saying?
Ha ha. Might come out looking like a friggin' Go-Gurt, dude.
Shriveled up Go-Gurt.
Shriveled up Go-Gurt. That's how my hog looks, dude. It's not how my hog looked when you said fucking, who'd you say should play? Oh, that Liam Neeson should play Gandalf. Oh, dude. That was like if you squeeze. It was looking like an otter pop. That's how I was looking down there. You have...
By the way, Joe had never heard of an otter pop. We were talking frozen treats last week.
Joe probably experienced no joy as a child. I feel like Joe's childhood, he was wearing a short sleeve shirt, like collared shirt tucked in with a tie his entire childhood. I feel like he was already an umpire. He was already a referee. Like, you know how most kids play youth sports?
Yeah.
He was already an ump. He's like, yeah, I'll be the ref. Make sure we get a good game. Yeah. Good. The fucking...
Great strikeout call, though, for little Joe.
Guarantee. Yeah. Yeah. Just throwing yeah. Who was the first ump to do the strike?
I don't know.
Just make that noise. They don't even say strike. Just, yeah. And then what do they say for ball? Oh. Yeah.
Or you just say nothing.
Yeah. And then the batter looks back at you. The fuck? You're out of here. So basically, the big beef between Rome and Carthage is Sicily, which is They want Sicily. They want the ports there. They want to be able to trade with other, Persia and whoever is, all the cultures traveling via sea and basically freaking boost their commerce, dude. Make bank, and can't have that. Can't have two superpowers doing that. So someone's got to go. Carthage also, and Hannibal's got major beef with his dad. Instilled in him from his dad. It sounds like he actually likes his dad. Sorry, misspoke. Him and his dad don't have beef. Maybe they share steaks together. That's the beef that they have, and that's nice. Father and son sharing steaks together is the epitome of a good father-son relationship in Orange County, where I grew up. If you're grilling flank steaks with your dad on Sunday, things are going right. If you're eating carne asada tacos by yourself on Sunday at a table, and then you see your dad at a table across the way, and you go, well, you come here on Sundays? Yeah, I like to have steak on Sundays. Not together, though. And then you both finish your tacos in silence together at A's Burger. And you watch one of the soccer games that they have up on the corner TV of, Tier 2.
I was at Angel Stadium last Saturday. Saw a lot of OC dads.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of flat bill caps backwards with sunglasses on top.
Mm-hmm. That's the culture there. Wearing Under Armour polos, thick necks.
Thick necks.
Every dad in Orange County looks like if Mike Trout and Mark Wahlberg had sex. And that's what they birthed dads in Orange County. That's what they are.
Yep.
It's classic. It's a hilarious look. And they all drive those Sprinter vans. They all are ready for the apocalypse. They're ready to barbecue at the apocalypse.
Yeah.
That's what they're all ready for. Cook flank steaks. Their steaks are already marinated in their Yeti coolers inside of their Sprinter vans already. So Hannibal is a genius military tactician. He was able to use the terrain to his advantage multiple times. He's also able to crush superior Roman forces with less, if he was outnumbered. His tactics, and I've talked about this in former episodes, the crescent moon shape, and I've talked about this in the ocean. I talked about this at they would use this, and I think it was like the battle at like Delphi or something like that, a famous naval battle. But if you have a superior, the Roman legions, 5,000 strong, and then multiple legions, they would have like 10 legions going up against Carthage, 100,000 troops meeting in one day, and you'd have this, all these Roman, just imagine that opening scene of Gladiator moving forward, the artillery in the back, and they moving forward in right angles, linear, a phalanx where the shields, high shield, the tortoise shell, hoplite phalanx advancing against the enemies, whoever it is, in this case Carthage. And then what Hannibal would do, it was so genius, he would take this crescent shape, which had been used before, but put his weaker forces in the middle, lure the Roman forces into the center. They're going to break through the center, which you would think, military tactics to the edge. We've broke the center. We've broken their lines. We're now in and back. Let's charge forward. Let's go gank the Carthaginians. But Hannibal knew that, so it would suck to be one of these weaker soldiers in the middle. That sucks. Huge bummer task. You're going to get murdered. So that sucks. But, this is what being a general is. You got to make these tough calls. And those guys get broken through, and then the tips of the crescent moon then wrap around, and now you are surrounded and attacked from the rear by the strongest soldiers in the Carthaginian army. Fucking genius. He would do this in open fields. He did this in mountainous terrains. He famously did that in Trebia in 218 BC. He used, obviously I mentioned he used his war elephants, which were meant to plow through, think about, speaking of Lord of the Rings, dude, badass war elephants, just think of those things. Obviously those are war elephants on steroids, but you would train them for battle, crush the cavalry, because the Roman cavalry was badass. It was better than the Carthaginian cavalry. That was the true force of the Roman Empire, was Obviously, their legions were badass. They're well-trained soldiers, but also that Roman cavalry was badass. And his war elephants were an answer to that. Hannibal's weaknesses were supplies. He was often fighting away in Roman territory. It's badass to think he's attacking Rome. You know, famously, he tries to come through the Alps. That's what he would do. He would use terrain in disguise. He used fog to lure Roman armies. He would send little skirmishes out with different troops, have the Romans come closer and closer, and then strike, like that famous monologue in Gladiator. I've heard of a very peculiar sea creature that hunts in a rather peculiar way. It allows its enemies to come in and strike it, and yet it remains still. It'll be struck again, and yet it will remain still until the time is right, of course. And then boom, you gank. Let's see, I'm fired up on Hannibal now. I guess actually I just misspoke. According to this article, the Rome did underestimate the speed and power of Hannibal's cavalry, but probably that's only just, you know, standard Roman overestimation. Hannibal also was a man of timing. He was like the first to use, speaking of spies, me and Aaron, he would send spies in to Rome, find out when, because Rome was known for changing generals out. You know, they didn't want like obviously Caesar comes about later than this, but a general gaining too much power and sway and then coming and overthrowing the government. So they would change out generals to go oversee the troops. And of course, generals were more, you know, it's like when you have a basketball team, they got to gel, you got a new general, you're not quite vibing with your colonels, you're not quite gelled yet. That's when Hannibal would strike, when there was a changing of the guard. So the guy was just, he was just fully dialed in. Let's see.
Get there like, what up?
Yeah, exactly.
New general, first day on the job. Boom.
Yeah. Big time. He'd know.
Damn.
It's like when a middle manager from Enterprise Rent-A-Car, who's an absolute beast, goes next door to lunch at the Jersey Mike's and realizes it's under new management. He goes, "It's taking too long today, guys. You know, I'm clocked in. You got, you know, what's going on in the back room there." But you know what? You can't always blame management, because working the line at a Jersey Mike's or a Chipotle, if they're out of something, you get any excuse to lie to a customer and go to the back room and just, you know, listen to a song or check a text message and then come back and be like, yeah, we're out of that. It's a huge power move. It's something that you got to do. It's something that all, you know, wage employees need. It's something that we should never get rid of.
Yeah.
Being able to lie to the customer just a little bit. You got to do it. Let's see. He used the fog at the Battle of Lake Tresmene. That's where he did that. Badass. Consulship is the position where he was looking for the change of power. His attacks would coincide with the changing of consuls. Consul would be the Roman general, the head general of you know, maybe multiple legions.
You know who played a man named Hannibal?
Who?
Liam Neeson.
Really?
Hannibal Hamlin in the A-Team movie.
Oh, badass.
Yeah.
Badass.
Just thought I'd bring that up.
I'm all about my boy Liam Neeson, dude. All about him, dude. Absolutely. You know, Rob Roy, love him. Despite his victories against Rome, Hannibal did, of course, you know, he's famously defeated by Scipio Africanus in the Second Punic War. He basically was overextended. He was cut off from supply lines at the Battle of Zama. This is in modern-day Tunisia. So Rome came down to Carthage, ganked him on his own home territory, used his own tactics against him. Instead of being captured, Hannibal took his own life. You know, there was a treaties signed between Carthage and Rome. Rome was to the victors go the spoils. You know, Carthage had no choice but to rise up and be like, look, we need to fight again. We can't survive under this. We're basically one of your, what's it called, like territories at this point, which we aren't. Third Punic War basically is the end of Carthage after that. What happened in that final defeat was Scipio Africanus was basically able to convince the Numidians to fight with Rome against Carthage. Classic 2-on-1. Couldn't do it. Hannibal was also trying to convince the Numidians, but couldn't do it. Rome was just able to bribe them with more gold and probably wine, you know, made him too many promises, dude. And then they freaking just ganked Hannibal. But the guy, you know, his legacy is just being a badass general. You know, of course, using the elephants is when you hear about Hannibal, maybe you think about the movie, Hannibal Lecter. But then you probably really should think Hannibal of Carthage, not Hannibal the Cannibal. Guy's a friggin' badass. And, you know, had he was been able to maybe convince the Numidians or keep them at bay or have better supplies and not have overextended himself. I think, I shouldn't really say himself. I don't think he was granted the supplies that he needed from Carthage, whether they couldn't afford it is number one. But number two is maybe his own empire and government wouldn't give it to him.
Also, fighting in the sand is hard.
Yeah, dude. You ever play volleyball in the sand? You use those little mini muscles. It's tough to move.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's hot.
Yeah. The Roman army.
Wearing socks.
Famously, no one's in socks. Your feet are tough. Granted, you're probably, you know, have built up a little bit of endurance to that, but still, the Roman army wears cleats. They were the ones who invented cleats. Pretty badass, dude. So they could strike better, get more torque. And all their marching that they did. Badass, dude. But famously struck fear into the heart of all Romans.
Wow.
He, like I mentioned, bitter rivals. And Hannibal is at the gates, is a saying.
Yeah. Something
you could drop, you know, at a dinner party. Might be nice to say. Ooh, sounds like Hannibal's at the gates. Someone's in a little bit of trouble, or some guy's getting yelled at. You're sitting there having scotch with the boys, cigar, having boys' time, and the ladies not because they want to come in and enjoy some dessert cakes. I'm imagining you're in some sort of British high society scenario here, and then you could look at the gentleman in class. Sounds like Hannibal's at the gates, and they all something like Gosford Park type joke. It's a Gosford Park type joke.
Yeah.
Only got halfway through that movie.
Meh.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, get out of here. But who's the director? It's a good ass director though.
It's Nashville. Robert Altman.
Yeah. Badass. I'm glad that this dude on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on his name, but maybe also he doesn't want me to share it. He's like, dude, you gotta do a Hannibal ep. He's like, I'm gonna keep commenting. Probably I shouldn't have done it because it helps me in the algo when dudes comment. So now that I've done the Hannibal episode, please continue to comment. You know, maybe even just throw some shakas or whatever. Goes for all the Danktorians out there, dude. Listen to this Dankfotainment. You know, leave a review, comment. Always helps the pod. Fired up, stoked on this episode. Stoked on, you know, because we all so often hear of the victors. I want to hear the guys who were defeated. You know, I want to hear from them. I mean, a lot of the resources we're reading from it's you know, former Roman historians that we're deriving all of our information from. So, you know, it's tough. Hannibal and the Carthage did document some stuff on their own so we can get their side of the story. It's also fun to get the bias, you know. I would love to just have recovered a note of Hannibal writing to his dad, be like, yeah, dude, Rome's such bitches today, dude. They're so stupid. I lured them into the fog. They had no idea, Dad. And then his dad just eating a good steak, being like, hell yeah. I'm so fired up on that victory, even though he was probably already dead, but maybe he was praying to him, dude. So legit. So chill. It's crazy to think about just how many cultures Rome conquered, and then over the years, and then people just considering themselves Romans in the provinces beyond. I wonder if they were like, no, I'm this. You know how we're like, oh, I'm Irish American? If people were like, no, I'm Numidian Roman. I'm Tunisian Roman. I'm Italian. Because Italian Roman would be, I guess, Etruscans came before Rome, but if they were like, oh, I'm Celtic Roman, people really bought into it. Although I guess the Celts did remain, a lot of their culture persisted. Gaul is what Rome referred to as, what we now talk about the British Isles, Gaul in Roman talk. Sick ass name, Gaul. I'm Gaul Roman. Pretty badass. I'm Egyptian Roman. There are, main cultures that did just keep their own identity. You never hear about Carthage. I think Carthage probably just put up the biggest fight. They just got fully conquered. Assimilation gone. North African Roman.
I mean, it's a bit of a hostile place.
Oh, yeah.
Just from a terrain standpoint and a weather standpoint. Sahara's right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's rough.
And that's why they needed to, that's the necessity. Say that necessity forced them into the Mediterranean. It's, mother's necessity of invention made them into a naval empire, a naval power mainly, even though all these a lot of these battles were on land with Hannibal. There was naval, of course, in these Punic Wars, there were naval campaigns. But yeah, it's funny to think if they could have gotten past that Sahara, the amount of resources, Carthage would have been fighting other empires. I'm sure they did fight certain battles down in there, but maybe against the Moors and such. I don't know if the Moors maybe came around later, but whoever were the predecessors to the Moors. But that was their natural enemy. They went to the sea and beyond. So resources, dude, in the ancient world, and we're still battling for them today. Resources, dude.
Yeah.
So it's freaking gnarly, dude. Hopefully we can find new ways to mine them. Crypto, dude. It's what crypto is going to save the day, dude. Crypto and OnlyFans, dude. Everyone's just going to chill out. It's fine. Just buy whatever we need on crypto. Uber Eats stuff, and it's all good,
Speaking of Hannibal at the gates, Trump constantly brings up Hannibal Lecter.
Who brings him up?
Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
In reference to immigrants coming across the border.
Hilarious.
So maybe at some point he heard the phrase Hannibal at the gates.
Yeah.
And he keeps thinking it's Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't know that.
Coming across the border is a mentally ill serial killer. It's very strange.
Yeah, completely mistaken, and no one's correcting him. I bet you that is the mistake.
He also thinks asylum means mental hospital and not refugee.
Yeah, refugee,
status.
exactly.
Yeah.
He thinks it's a bunch of Hannibal Lecter cannibals coming here to eat people's liver with fava beans.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious, dude. Hilarious. We got to keep him out. I mean, he famously thought all the Haitians were coming here to eat the pets. This guy thinks everyone's coming here to eat stuff. It's not about like medical resources or taxpayer dollars. He's like, they're literally going to eat us. They're going to come here. They're going to eat your arm. They're going to start with the legs. You're going to be spare ribs. You're going to be barbecued. You're going to be a hamburger. The immigrants are coming here. They're going to turn us all into hamburgers. They're going to put us in their tacos. They're going to gobble us up. We need to protect ourselves.
I saw a movie about it.
Yeah.
I almost passed out.
Exactly. I wasn't hydrated. I did not have a cherry cola. I didn't have a ginger ale. I should have. I passed out. When I woke up, I was living in a waking nightmare, but I'm here to fix it. All right. I'm fired up. Thank you for listening. You guys are stoked. Hey, send in more suggestions for episodes. I'm always fired up on it. Liam Neeson, baby. What up? Guys, stay stoked. We'll catch you in the next one.